13 cryptocurrency facts you should know. The stock market has historically been the greatest asset for generating long-term wealth. Stocks have produced a 7% annualized return over the long term, including dividend reinvestment and accounting for inflation. According to this, an investor may see a roughly 10-year increase in their capital. However, since the year started, cryptocurrencies, digital currencies that use cryptography to create money and verify transactions, have overtaken the stock market. Investors in virtual currencies have frequently experienced returns that would take a lifetime to accumulate during the span of 11 months. Welcome to Finance Dart, and on this channel, we love sharing financial information, tips, and tricks to help you take your game to the next level. Subscribe if you're new here and give this video a big thumb up for that good old YouTube algorithm. Now, without any further ado, let's begin. 1. Digital currencies are exceptionally volatile. If you've been following cryptocurrencies, you will probably notice their extreme volatility right away. This results from the fact that Bitcoin trading takes place on numerous exchanges rather than a single one, which raises volatility. As of December 18th, the total market value of all cryptocurrencies had surged by more than 3,200% since the year's start. Nevertheless, over the previous 6 months, the most widely used cryptocurrency in the world, Bitcoin, has had 4 corrections of at least 20%. In conclusion, cryptocurrencies aren't for the timid. 2. Cryptocurrencies lack a core support system. Digital currencies aren't backed by a central bank or a government, unlike the dollars in your wallet or any other money in the world. Additionally, they lack any observable essential components that could be used to determine an accurate assessment. Digital currencies have no direct fundamental linkages to one another, unlike publicly traded stocks, which may have their value estimated by looking at their profit history, or like the dollar, which can have its value determined by a country's GDP growth. This makes standardizing the valuation of Bitcoins extremely challenging, if not impossible. 3. There are almost 1,300 different cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin is king. You've definitely heard a lot about Bitcoin if you've been following the growth of virtual currencies, and for good reason. It was the first cryptocurrency introduced to the market that could be traded, and it presently accounts for 54% of the $589 billion total market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies. It's not, however, the only one. Investors can purchase more than 1,300 other virtual currencies, more than a dozen of which have market caps over $1 billion. 4. In blockchain, there is genuine value. Despite the focus on trading virtual currencies, the fundamentals of cryptocurrencies may potentially hold special value. The framework on which cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are built is blockchain technology. It is a digital, decentralized ledger that securely and effectively logs payment and transfer transactions. It's also a major factor in why major corporations are so enthused. 5. Miners are essential. To account for new transactions and payments, the blockchain must be continually expanded, and Bitcoin transactions must be confirmed. The people who work as Bitcoin miners are responsible for this task. In order to validate and log transactions, crypto mining entails employing powerful computers to solve challenging mathematical equations in a competitive manner. The miner usually receives a reward for being the first to do so, which might take the form of cryptocurrency tokens or block-related transaction fees. Despite the high hardware and electricity expenses, mining can be very profitable. The recent double-digit percentage growth in sales for NVIDIA and advanced micro devices is mostly attributable to the graphics card hardware requirements of miners. 6. Decentralization is critical. The decentralized nature of blockchain technology is what makes it so alluring. In other words, there is no huge data center where this information is kept centrally, where thieves may launch an attack and seize control of a certain digital currency. Instead, there are scattered bits and pieces of data about a certain blockchain network on servers and hard drives all over the world, but not enough to make it unusable if it were to fall into the wrong hands. Because of this, blockchain is a highly secure technology that big organizations find intriguing. 7. Blockchain has a ton of other benefits. However, there are benefits to blockchain technology beyond decentralization. Transactions can be settled much more quickly through cryptocurrency mining than through traditional banking, which adheres to regular business hours, closes for the weekends, and frequently retains funds for a few days. Additionally, since there is no need for an intermediary, blockchain can actually lower transaction costs. Blockchain also gives users control and transparency. Members of a cryptocurrency's community make the decisions regarding its future development rather than a third entity, as is the case with blockchains. But even blockchain isn't perfect. Blockchain does, however, have some disadvantages. For example, because it's a young technology that's still being developed, difficulties are going to arise. These hiccups can include transaction speed and verification delays, which are crucial benefits that businesses will seek if they move away from the conventional databases now in use. Concerns exist over the adoption of this novel technology. Although it might speed up international transactions and provide more security for the financial services sector, a swift switch to blockchain is not a given. 9. Several well-known companies are testing blockchain technology. Few would contest that blockchain is a potentially game-changing technology despite these drawbacks. Several significant corporations have collaborated with blockchains powered by cryptocurrencies on small-scale and trial projects. To test out a subset of Ethereum's blockchain in smaller projects, 200 firms, for instance, have joined the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Microsoft, MasterCard, and JP Chase, JPM 0.04%, are a few of the corporations participating. Cryptocurrencies recently, blockchain projects with well-known companies have also been announced by Ripple and IOTA. 10. The entry hurdle is reasonably low. It's also important to note that, despite the potential for blockchain technology to transform the financial services sector, there are almost no barriers to entry. You might be able to create a blockchain and launch a cryptocurrency if you have the necessary time, resources, and team. How concerning is this for dominant currencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum? Less than 1,000 cryptocurrencies were available on the market in July. There were 1,364 as of December 18th. Every month, somewhere between 50 and 100 new virtual currencies are released, many of which are probably supported by blockchain technology. Each of them poses a potential risk to the blockchains that underpin the virtual currencies that are already in use. 11. Several nations have laws against using cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies may be the hottest thing since bread, but not all places accept them. Some nations have made the decision to explicitly prohibit the use of and/or trading of digital currencies due to their uncontrolled and decentralized nature. In 6 nations, Bolivia, Bangladesh, Nepal, Morocco, Kyrgyzstan, and Ecuador, trading in cryptocurrencies, sending payments in virtual money, and purchasing products and services with them are all prohibited. And there's a real chance that this list could get longer. For instance, Russia has been debating outlawing cryptocurrency payments for some time. 12. Investors frequently overestimate how quickly new technologies are adopted. It's also important to note that investors frequently overestimate how quickly established businesses will adopt new technology. Over the past 2 decades, we have seen investors inflate the value of internet firms, B2B companies that engage in commerce, 3D printing companies, and biotech stocks that are involved in genome decoding, only for these bubbles to implode shortly after. This is not meant to imply that these sectors failed, but rather to highlight the fact that they initially fell short of the high expectations of investors. With cryptocurrencies, we have a market cap total that has increased by more than 2,100% since the year's start, and the expectation that major corporations will easily adopt blockchain technology. If those companies don't accept blockchain right away, we might see another instance of a bubble collapsing in the future. 13. Few people still understand what cryptocurrencies are or whether they are legal. Actually, most people have no idea whatsoever about how cryptocurrencies work. A more recent poll indicated that only 32% of Americans were aware of Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency by market size, despite a September survey by student loan refinancing company LendEDU finding that nearly 79% of Americans were aware of Bitcoin. Additionally, compared to the first public offerings for physical currencies, 75% of people had never heard of initial coin offerings. Even worse, LendEDU asked respondents if it was unlawful to possess Bitcoin in the United States. A whopping 47.7% were unsure, 10.7% thought it was, and 41.6% correctly stated that it wasn't. This implies a serious lack of knowledge about cryptocurrency. Thank you so much for viewing today's video, everyone. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and please subscribe if you haven't already. That being said, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the next one.